Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the new Player of the Season pack from the Mexican League on eFootball. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description for each player, so if there's a particular player you want to hear about, just click on the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So let's have a look. It's a coin pack, 100 coins to spin, 11 players in here, and we've got 3 4-star players, and we'll start with Orrantía. So what we've got here, we've got an attacking fullback. He can play right back, right midfield. So as a right back, he's got good pace. Physical contact's okay. That will hit 70 with the game plan boost. Balance 82 is pretty decent. Stamina 90 is great. Defensively, that's the area of concern. He's a bit weak. These defensive attributes are a bit low, so he's not going to be brilliant at defending. We'll have a look in a second, see if he's got the defensive skills to compensate for that. Down the left, though, from attacking awareness right the way down to lofted pass, they're all going to be 80 plus with the game plan boost, so that's good. So down the left is good. Down the right is good. It's just down the middle. He's a bit weak with his defensive attributes, but if we take a look at his skills, he does have a great selection of defensive skills. Man marking, interception, blocker, aerial superiority, acrobatic clearance. That's a great selection of skills defensively. So that will compensate for these defensive attributes, but he's still not brilliant defensively. Going forward, weighted pass, a nice little bonus. Pinpoint crossing is good though. Scissors feint if you like this sort of thing. But to be honest, on the whole, he's got a great selection of skills for a fullback. So the question really, like as it is with a lot of attacking fullbacks, is that how much defensive ability do you really need on your fullback? A lot of people like a very defensive fullback, almost like an auxiliary or additional centre back. If that's the case, I don't think this guy is going to be your cup of tea. But if you like your fullbacks to just be very attacking, just to get forward, I would prioritize attacking to a great extent over defending on my fullbacks. That's just the way I play. I think a lot of people will have a lot of fun with this guy. I think certainly in the Mexican League Challenge, you might kind of be a bit more liberal with your fullbacks and accept, let it go if he's not quite so strong defensively. Certainly for me, Mexican League Challenge, I'm throwing this guy straight in as a fullback, very attacking, not the best defensively for sure, like I say, but with all the abilities he's got going forward, I think it'll be a fun one to use. And worth mentioning as well, right midfield, I don't see him as being a particularly good right winger in a kind of like a 4-4-2. I don't think he's got quite enough going forward with these attributes, and pinpoint crossing is the only real attacking skill that he's got. So I don't think I would use him as an out-and-out winger. But if you play with wing backs in a kind of 3-4-3 or 3-5-2, and when I say wing backs, I don't mean just sticking attacking players at wide midfield like Mbappe just because they've got a wide midfield on their position chart. I mean when you use actual wing backs like Grimaldo and Frimpong at Leverkusen, actual wing backs who get up and down, do a bit of everything. I think as a wing-back, this guy could be really, really good. That right column, he's got the pace, he's got everything down the right, he's got everything down the left, to be honest. And then down the middle, sure, he is a bit weak for a full-back, but if he's playing as a wing-back, it's not quite so important. And he does have all these skills here defensively, along with crossing. So, yeah, as a very attacking full-back, could be useful for a lot of people. As a wing-back, a real out-and-out sort of orthodox wing-back, I think he could be pretty damn good, to be honest, especially for a 4-star card. So, yeah, to be honest, this guy, lowest rated in the pack, but I think he could be surprisingly decent, to be honest. And now we have Orozco. Probably said that wrong. So we've had a couple of versions of this guy in the past, to be honest, but this is the best version. I mean, this is a player of the season pack, so I expect these guys to be very good versions of the players. What you've got here, again, it is a 4-star card. Again, it's the second of 3 4-star cards we've got, and as you can see, he is very much a 4-star card. But he's kind of okay. For a 4-star, he's decent. The defensive awareness and tackling are fantastic. Aggression's okay. The engagement, a little bit iffy. I think that's probably the first obvious reason why he's a 4-star. Then we come over here, jumping and physical, they could be worse, but they are a bit on the low side as well. So again, I think along with engagement, the jumping and physical, those are the attributes really that keep him down at a 4-star level. Decent enough pace for a centre-back. Stamina's decent for a centre-back. If we look at the skills, not a bad selection at all, to be honest. He's got heading and aerial superiority, so that will compensate for his slight lack of jumping and physical ability. He'll be decent enough in the air. We've got man marking, interception, blocker, slide and tackle, fighting spirit. As with the centre-backs we saw in Player of the Week earlier, we're lacking acrobatic clearance, but that's the only one we're lacking. So, yeah, on the whole, it's a good selection of skills for a centre-back. He's also got heel trick, which is interesting. So you might get some nice touches on the ball with your centre-back in strange positions. But, the important ones, good selection of skills, to be honest. So, yeah, like I say, the defensive engagement's a bit low, the jumping and physical a bit low as well. But outside of that, to be honest, it's a fairly solid centre-back. I think this is one of these cards like you're going to probably see with a bunch of cards in this pack. you're going to be looking at them as players for the Mexican League Challenge. And I think for the Mexican League Challenge, he could be well worth picking up and having hold of. I think he'd be fairly useful in that challenge. Outside of that, I think he's very much a 4-star card. So yeah, not disastrously bad in any area really, but just a few weaknesses there. Just that mean that he's a 4-star card. He's not quite good enough that I'd use outside of the Mexican League Challenge. So yeah, a decent enough card, but he's very much a 4-star. And then our final 4-star card, we've got our goalkeeper, Malagón from Club America. So this guy's interesting because at first glance you're thinking, wow, this guy's looking pretty good, especially for a 4-star. That's why he's a 4-star. He's short for a goalkeeper. He's about 5'10". He's just shy of 5'11". A player's height will factor into their overall rating, especially with the goalkeeper. It's a significant factor for a goalkeeper. So that is the single reason why this is a 4-star card, not a 5-star, because when you look down the attributes, he is good. Awareness 92, reflexes 90. This is before the game plan boost. Catching and parrying are both okay. Reach of 89 is going to go 90 plus with your game plan boost, so that will compensate to some extent for his lack of height. Shockingly, we got a highlight card, a sort of, not a highlight card, what do they call these ones? Trending card. A card that's based on, yeah, there you go, trending. We've got a card that's based on good performances for a goalkeeper, and his jumping is actually reasonable. Not brilliant, but 79. He'll be 80 plus for jumping with the game plan boost. So for a trending goalkeeper, that's amazing. But he is only about 5'10". So yeah, the jumping and the reach, I think overall will compensate to some extent for his lack of height. But that lack of height is the drawback with this guy. It will hold him back a bit. It will prevent him from being quite as good as those attributes make him look like he is at first glance. But he does still have those really good attributes. He will still be a very good shot stopper. It's just that I think it'd probably be the kind of those long range curlers into the far top corner where he might struggle a bit. But yeah, I think on the whole though, he's certainly for a 4-star keeper, I think he's still going to be pretty decent. Skill wise, low punt, high punt, long throw. So he's got the skills for distribution, not brilliant passing attributes though. So, you know, distribution okay with the jumping and the reach and all these attributes. I think you kind of throw it all into the mix, and I think the ratings, I mean, obviously the game doesn't lie, the rating comes out about right. It's a 91 rated keeper really, but outside of the slight reach issue, and like I say, perhaps those long range curlers right into the corner where he might get found out a little bit, I think with the attributes he's got, it's actually a pretty tidy keeper, to be honest. And again, as I was saying with the last guy, Orozco, I think with the Mexican League Challenge, you could be well worth picking up for that one, especially. He could be a good keeper. And I think outside of that, to be honest, if you were desperate any week for a goalkeeper and this guy's got form, even though he's a bit on the short side, I think the attributes make him decent enough, to be honest. It's for a 4-star keeper, it's pretty good. And now we have another centre-back. We've got Peña. So for me, this is the weakest card in the pack. This is the one card in this pack that I think I'll be most likely to put in the bin. And I'm probably being a bit harsh here because he does have a lot of qualities. But the main issue for me is the defensive engagement. 78 is low. He will hit 80 in the game plan boost, but that's still low. It's low for a centre-back. And he absolutely honks on the ball, much like Mosquera, who we looked at in Player of the Week earlier. Sure, with a centre-back, it's not really about what he's like on the ball. You're not going to be doing much dribbling with a centre-back, but you want him to be able to control the ball, and he's pretty low with these attributes. But like I say, he's got a lot of qualities. The awareness, the tackling, the aggression. Your game plan boost is going to take all those 90 plus, which is fantastic. Speed's going to hit 80 with the game plan boost, which is good for a centre-back. Acceleration is reasonable. Jumping is not brilliant. He's just over 6'1". We'll check in a sec if he's got aerial superiority. The jumping, like I say, is not brilliant though. Physical contact 89 is great. It'll be 90 plus with your game plan boost. Heading only 77, so he's going to need the heading skill. Stamina's pretty decent for a centre-back. So, looking at the skills, does have heading, does have aerial superiority, so he'll be decent enough in the air. Man marking, interception, blocker, sliding tackle, acrobatic clearance, captaincy and fighting spirit down there. He's got a great selection of skills for a centre-back. So, yeah, like I say, I'm probably being a bit harsh when I say he's the weakest in the pack and that I would most likely release him. Maybe I'll keep a hold of him. I don't know. It's just the engagement from me and the fact he's a little bit dodgy in the ball that really hold him back. To be honest, I prefer the 4-star centre-back Orozco that we just looked at. I think he's a bit more of a solid option. There's no real major weakness with that guy. Even if his stats in a lot of areas aren't as high as this guy's, it's just that the engagement on this guy is low and he's dodgy on the ball. So, yeah, if you're not too bothered about the engagement, you might think this guy will be fine. Destroyer, just get in the way of things, stop attacks, and just get rid of the ball. Could be an effective one, to be fair to him. I might be being a bit harsh, but that is my concern. If it's your concern as well, you might be put off this guy as much as keeping hold of this guy as much as I am, if you get him. But outside of that, he does have quite a lot of strengths. So some people might be quite keen on this guy, to be honest. I think for a 5-star, he's not brilliant, but he's certainly got a lot of strengths. It's just a question of the engagement and whether you don't mind the fact he's horrible on the ball. So yeah, some people might like this guy. For other people like me, not so keen. Now, this is where the fun starts. We've got a few nice attacking players in here. And this is our first one. We've got Flores. So, this guy, first things first, he's tiny, 163 centimeters. So he's going to have that very low center of gravity. He's a whole player that will be active in left midfield, his registered position. It will also be active attacking midfield if you play him there. He's got one other position where he won't have an active play style, left wing forward. I think he can do a job in all those positions, but I think wide left he'd be really nice. This guy's got good pace, he's got good balance. On the ball control and tight possession might not be brilliant, but the dribbling's very nice. Attacking awareness will be 80 plus with the game plan boost. Passing's decent enough. I think for a wide guy, it's very decent actually. Finishing's not too bad, not bad at all. If we look at the skills, got a bit of dribbly stuff, a couple of skill moves there, but long range curler, long range shooting, one touch pass, through passing, pinpoint crossing. This guy's got end product with his shooting and his passing. Outside curl is a nice one to have for a boner, little bonus. But he's got end product. He can pass, he can shoot. He's good at dribbling. He's got the pace, the mobility and everything on the ball and that low centre of gravity. And I like that playing style as well. A lot of us do. I think this guy could be really neat, could be a really fun one to use. I think in a Mexican League Challenge especially, but even outside of it, he could be a fun one to have. You throw him into the mix as a little guy, get on the ball and do a bit of dribbling with him. Yeah, shame you can't train him. I think the dribblers would have loved to sign this guy and put more skill moves on him because I think he will be a really fun one to dribble with. But even so, I think he could be a really fun card to pick up. So yeah, I quite like the look of this guy. So next we have a defensive midfielder or centre midfielder, Romo. He can play attacking mid as well. He's an orchestrator though, so he won't have a play style active at attacking midfield. His attacking awareness will be low. His pace will be low. I don't think he's overly suited to attacking midfield. But he could do a job there. He's certainly got some qualities. But I'm going to look at him primarily as an orchestrator, as a kind of a real deep line playmaker. Because if you look at this guy's attributes and his strengths, he's very much built perfectly to have that playing style. So, ball control is great. Tight possession is decent. Not a dribbler by any means. He's lacking dribbling. He's lacking pace. He's not got great balance. You're not going to dribble much with this guy. You're just going to get him on the ball in the middle of the park and just pick a pass, and he can pick a pass. 90 low pass before the game plan boost, 86 lofted. Down the middle here, can he do a bit of defensive work since he's an orchestrator? He's going to be sitting deep around the middle of the pitch. Yes, he can. Not brilliant defensively, but he's certainly very decent. It's only aggression that won't be as high as 80 in the game plan boost. The rest will be 80 plus. So he can do a bit of defensive work. We'll check his skills in a moment. As I mentioned, not the quickest, but again, as a deep line playmaker, you don't really rely on pace. I don't think that's going to be much of an issue. Decent kicking power. He's got good physical contact. He's not got the best balance, but he's got some physical contact. That does come in handy in the middle of the park. And the stamina with that orchestrated playing style, I think it's fine. I don't think he'll have any issues getting tired with this guy. And when we look at the skills, we look at the most important ones first. For a deep line playmaker, one touch pass, through passing, weighted pass, low lofted pass. He's got some really, really good passing on him. Remember, 90 low pass before the game plan boost. He's also got interception, blocker, and aerial superiority. So 3 really useful skills for the defensive work as well. So they marry up perfectly with the fact that he's got some decent defensive attributes. This guy, for what he is, sitting deep, whether it's a centre midfielder lighting around the middle of the park or the DMF just lighting around just a little bit deeper on the pitch, he's just going to want to sit in those areas, make himself available to pick the ball up and just to pick a pass. And I think he's going to be super effective with that, to be honest. Again, it's going to be the same case with all the cards in this pack. None of them are going to be top level. None of them are going to be, getting into your team ahead of legends and so on. But certainly in the Mexican League Challenge, this guy could be a fantastic option. But even outside of it, he's pretty tidy. Like I say, for what he's good at, and for that playing style, the way he's going to play, he's got everything he needs. He's quite physically strong. He can do his defensive work. He's pretty tidy on the ball, and his passing is fantastic. So if you like an orchestrator in the middle of the park, I think this is a very decent card. And then we come to Salvio. So I'm a fan of this guy. This to me, there are a few decent cards in this pack, but I think this guy might be the pick of them. We've had a few feature versions of him in the past, but this is the best version we've had of him. He's got a bunch of positions he can play. He's got pace. He's got a bit of balance. He's good on the ball. He can pass. He can finish. The attacking awareness will be 80 with the game plan boost. That marries up perfectly with his whole player playing style. Does have inconsistent form, something to keep in mind. But 2-footed, got outside curler as well. I mean, this guy looks really neat. Long range curler, long range shooting, first time shot, one touch pass, through passing. He's got soul control, got a few skill moves for the skillers. He's got end product, passing, shooting, dribbling, and he can play all over. I think he's a really, really good card. I think I'm really keen to get this guy. I think, to be honest, this is probably the one player in this pack that I think stands out the most. There are a few decent ones, but there's no real weakness for this guy for what he is. Wide left looks good. Wide right, probably the one position I wouldn't put him, to be honest. He's got 75 lofted pass. He doesn't have pinpoint crossing. That's probably the one area of his kind of position chart where he's not so great, but he's got outside curler that he can pass and shoot. So even on the right, he could cut inside and be effective from there, but certainly from the left, cutting inside, I think he'd be very effective. Through the middle, he's good enough to play as an attack midfielder. I think he'd be brilliant as an SS with that whole player playing style. Don't think he's got the finishing awareness to play as a striker, to be honest. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but I think wide left, AMF, but probably SS, in my opinion, would be the best position for him because he can pass and he can certainly shoot. He's got the skills to back up his end product with the passing and shooting, and on the ball with the pace, dribbling, just everything. I think this guy, again, by no means on the level of the kind of the real top players in the game, but I don't think he's a million miles away. I think he's a really useful player, and the fact he's versatile, loads of end product, good on the ball. I think this is a really, really good card, and this is my pick from the pack. So now we move on to the last four players, and these are the four highest rated. They're all 94 rated, and interestingly, this guy, the first of the joint highest rated, I don't think he's as good as some of the players who are low rated. I like Alvarado better than this guy, and I like Salvio better than this guy. Actually, Alvarado was not looked at. Salvio and Flores was the other guy who I like the look of. With this guy, is he good? For sure he is. I mean, the 94 rating doesn't lie, but he's not as versatile. He's not too fitted, and he doesn't have outside curler. And looking through all the attributes, I just don't think he's that great, to be honest. I'm not sure quite where he gets that 94 rating from. Yes, he's very quick. He's got good balance. He's decent on the ball. He can dribble a bit. He's got good attacking awareness. But coming down here, yes, 78 for finishing. That will get to 80 with the game plan boost. But passing, not brilliant. And he can only play down the left. So, you know, it's not disastrously poor passing. But when we look at his skills, okay, he's got a bunch of skill moves. The skillers are like that. Double touch, flip, flat, soul control. Pretty sure that gives him the ball roll double touch, I think it's called. It's like a special double touch. One of my skilling friends might be able to confirm that for me. Long range curler for a right foot on the left. That's a good one to have. Dipping shot, rising shot, long range shooting, first time shot. So with that finishing, hitting 80 in the game plan boost, a bunch of nice shooting skills, he's definitely got the ability to score goals for you. So that is good. But through passing and pinpoint crossing, all that's going to do is compensate for his passing and crossing not being great. 75 low pass is not great. It'll be a bit better with through passing, but it still won't be brilliant. And lofted pass 70, pinpoint crossing is not going to make him magically good at crossing. It's just going to mean he's a little bit better. So yeah, for me, is this a good card? It's pretty decent, but there are other cards in this pack, even one or two lower rated ones that I think are better. He's going to be very capable on the left, cutting side onto his right foot, score goals. Yes, good card, but not one of the better ones in this pack in my opinion. Just a fairly good card, but yeah, Mexican League Challenge could be a very useful one to have in general. Could be an effective one, but I think there's one or two better ones in here. I mentioned Alvarado, and here he is. So this guy, looking over all the attributes, he's actually very similar to Salvio. He's got an advantage with the form because Salvio is inconsistent, but this guy's unwavering, so that's good. Two-footed again. Again, we've got pretty good pace, good balance, the stamina's okay. He's pretty good on the ball. Mainly a dribbler though. The ball control and tight possession aren't brilliant, but he can certainly dribble. That's 90 plus when you get your game plan boost. Likewise, attacking awareness will be. Low and lofted pass and finishing all 80 plus before the game plan boost. So again, you've got a guy who's quick, he's mobile, he's got the dribbling, he's got a bit of end product there. Has he got the skills to back up the end product? Long range curler, one touch pass, through passing, pinpoint crossing. Yep, this guy's got end product. So yeah, I would still say Salvio gets the nod for me just about over this guy, but this guy's good. Again, super versatile. Got your soul control there, a couple of skill moves to the skillers. End product. Yeah, you can do a bit of everything, really. I think Salvio's probably my pick ahead of this guy, but I've got, like I say, I've said it a couple of times already, I think this guy's very similar. He's a prolific winger instead of a whole player. It's still a good playing style. Playing style largely comes down to personal preference, obviously. He could do a job left, he could do a job right. He could do a job through the middle, probably up to centre forward, where I think is a bit of a stretch. Again, like with Salvio, I don't think this guy's quite got the awareness or the finishing to really do that job. And likewise, centre midfield, he can't defend. I'm not going to be putting him there personally. But attack midfield and SS, In fact, attacking midfield is a bit of a stretch, to be honest. I think Salvio had about 85 for low pass, so that's one thing that Salvio's definitely got over this guy. Only 80 for low pass. Maybe I would be a bit put off putting this guy attacking midfield, but certainly as an SS, with all the qualities this guy's got, I think he could be very effective there. I think SS or wide right or wide left is probably the best positions for this guy. And again, like with Salvio, I think this is a good card. I think certainly the Mexican League Challenge, when that comes up, if you get this guy, could be a pretty valuable card to have. But even outside of it, I think he's pretty usable. He's got the pace, the dribbling, got a bit of end product. I think it's a good card on the whole. And now we have Rodríguez. So what we have here, we have a very orthodox centre midfield box to box. We've had a few versions of this guy before. This is the best at 94. So if you like this guy, this is the best one you can get of him. And honestly, I mean, on the position chart, you got left midfield. Can you do it? Can he do that position? Well, maybe. I don't think he's really best at it. He's not got too much pace. Attacking midfield, not sure he's quite best for that, or defensive midfield. I think this guy is very much an all-rounder. Box to box, bit of everything. Tidy on the balls. That 88 ball control is going to 90 with your game plan boost. Low and lofted pass are very decent. I think if you've got one of the highest rated managers, you might get to 90 on low pass. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Attacking awareness is okay for box to box. Defensively, decent. Not amazing. It would be nice if we could get his tackling up to 80 with the game plan boost. We fall a bit short on that one, but certainly the awareness and the engagement will be 80 plus. And down the right here, decent pace for a centre mid. The physical contact and bounce both go to 80 with your game plan boost, and then the stamina's already at 91 before your boost. It's got unwavering form. When we look at the skills, again, like I say, this is just an out-and-out box-to-box centre mid. One touch pass, through passing, weighted and low lofted passes. You've got good passing, and then trap back, interception, fighting spirit. A couple of bonuses here with your double touch and your long range shooting, but this guy honestly is just going to get up and down the pitch. He's going to pass it, and he's going to do a bit of defensive work. Again, I've said this about a lot of the players in this pack. None of these players are elite level. None of these guys are top cards, but especially for the Mexican League Challenge, and with some of them, including this one, I think outside of it, this is a usable card. He's got a bit of everything, box to box, neat. I think it's a useful card. I think he's a pretty good card overall. So, yeah, one of the better ones in this pack. Not the best by any means, but I think box to box centre midfield. He's got everything you need from him. Tidy card. And we finish with Quiñones, which I've probably pronounced wrong, as I often do. So, this guy, again, 94 rated. Similar to Idrissi, it's a good card, but even though he's one of the 4 highest rated in this pack, I don't think he's quite one of the best ones. He is good, but 85 attacking awareness and a centre forward, it's not quite elite level, is it? And finishing 87, I don't think you're going to get to 90 with a game plan boost, even with a top manager. Although, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know some attributes do go up by 3, so maybe that does hit 90 with some managers. But yeah, decent enough on the ball. Passing's okay for a striker. Pace is pretty good. You're getting 90 for acceleration with your game plan boost. Good kicking power. Quite interestingly, you've got a guy here who's a goal poacher. 177 centimeters. I think I'm going to guess that's about 5'9". So he's not the tallest. He's not a big guy by any means, but he's got decent physical contact on him, and his balance is at 80. So that physical contact could be a nice bonus. Could just make it a little bit harder for defenders to knock him off the ball, and that can come in very handy. When this guy's darting in behind the defence and there's a defender pressuring him when he tries to get a shot away, that could really help him a lot. And like I say, decent balance as well. This guy is, worth noticing, super sub. So he got a super sub here. So a pacey goal poacher, always good to have on the bench with a super sub. First time shot, acrobatic finishing, long range shooting, long range curler, rising shot. He's got a whole bunch of shooting skills, which is great. Outside curler helps as well. Yeah, this guy's just, I think this is one of those cards where the word I would use is useful. I'm not going to say this guy is a great card. I don't think it is, but it's certainly a good one. I don't think I would use him in any of his other positions. I don't think he's good enough on the ball to play as a wide man. I don't think his passing or crossing is good enough either. Certainly not for attacking mid. There's an SS, maybe he could get away with that, but you want to get the most out of this guy. I think he's very much an out-and-out centre forward, goal poacher playing style, good pace, getting behind, get into good positions, take chances for you, the finishing's good. And that physical contact's a nice bonus, and as is the fact he's got a super sub, and he's got unwavering form. So, yeah, I don't think this is an amazing card. I think the main reason for that is that his attacking awareness isn't a little bit higher, but he's got a lot of qualities. He's a super sub, and like I said, I think the word is useful. He's going to be usable outside of the Mexican League Challenge, but certainly when the Mexican League Challenge does pop up, I think this guy could be a really, really useful card to pick up. So, yeah, another good card. So, yeah, as I've mentioned a couple of times, I think this is a useful pack. I think there are some tidy cards in here. I think that Flores could be a really fun one to use with that low center of gravity. The guy is tiny, quick, he's good on the ball. I think Salvio and Alvarado, two versatile attacking players, are very useful. I think Salvio for me is probably my pick out of the whole pack. He looks like a really useful player to have. He's got a whole bunch of positions that he can play. I think especially down the left and playing that kind of number 10 area of the pitch could be very effective. Whole player playing style. You've got a couple of very decent midfield options. I think Romo is a really nice deep line playmaker with the orchestrated playing style. Rodríguez is a really good centre box to box. Even the lowest rated player in this pack, I think Orrantía could be a really neat fullback and especially wing back. Goalie's not bad at all for 91. Yeah, some decent ones in there. Like I said at the start, Peña for me is probably the weakest out of the bunch, but even he's not too bad. So yeah, if you got the coins knocking around and you like to have a stronger squad as you can when the Mexican League Challenge pops up, I think it'd be well worth throwing some coins at this. For me personally, this is a fun pack and I'm going to have a spin at this. There's a few players in here I think I'd really like to have. So yeah, I'd be interested to know your thoughts. If you're looking at these players, if there's anyone you like the look of, or if you spun it already, let me know who you'd want to get or you've got already. And hopefully you found this video useful as always. So cheers for watching and I'll see you again soon.